a one-on-one with Mark Oshiro.
Hello, cousins. Hi. It is Mark Oshiro, author of Anger is a Gift and Each of Us a Desert and The Insiders. It's very exciting that I get to say that. Very excited to one day be in the presence of all of you for the next CrossingsCon.
Where should new readers start with your work? Or do you have any recommendations on going through the Mark Does Stuff sites?
So, if you're interested, it is very easy because I don't have that much out at this point. As of me recording this, I only have one book out, which is Anger is a Gift, which is a young adult contemporary novel. But if you are watching this after September 15th, 2020, then you will have access to Each of Us a Desert, which is my uh, follow up to Anger is a Gift. It is literally nothing to do with it at all. It is a young adult fantasy, magical realism, horror, a little bit of everything. A book that is near and dear to my heart. Many of you at CrossingsCon have heard me read from it, and I don't think anything that was in it actually stuck because of all the editing that I went through. But anyway, I do have short stories out in different anthologies. If you go to markoshiro.com, I do have listed my entire bibliography of everything that is currently available. As for Mark Does Stuff, that is also pretty hard because I have been doing Mark Does Stuff for 11. This August will be 11 years. That is weird. That is a large chunk of time. So what I usually recommend is with a television show for Mark watches or with a book for Mark reads is to go in the right hand column. When you go to the site, there is a categories drop down and click it and then see if one of your favorite book series or TV series is in one of the things that I have covered and start there. That's a good way to start.
How has looking at other people's work so intensely influenced your writing?
I don't know that I talk about this all that often, but I am actually a college dropout. I technically have one semester of actual training as a writer, which a lot of people don't really believe. They're like, how is it possible? How did you have an entire life where writing was almost always part of your career and not actually be trained in it? I actually view Mark Reed's in particular as sort of my education. That was what it was. That is what I would consider me going to college is reading other people's books. I think one of the things that's really fascinating about getting to do literary criticism is that it helps you, at least me as a writer, figure out what it is that I want to do and what is it that I want to attempt and how is it that I see things that some people do and I want to figure out how to do it myself. To give you a very specific example, one of the things that I will talk about in a later question is the notion of exposition and how you pass information along to the reader. And I think Diane Duane does it in a very fascinating way, which does not hold the hand of the reader, which is a thing I don't actually generally like in speculative fiction or genre fiction books. So that's a great example of how studying someone else's writing can help you inform your own.
How is living in New York City versus California?
Uh, as you can see, I have a lot of hair. That's different. Wouldn't have grown my hair out if it wasn't for the weather here. The weather's the biggest and obvious thing. People think it's the size of the city, but it's really not. Los Angeles is actually much bigger, even though it has less people. It's way more spread out, so everything here is much more centrally located, which I enjoy. I love the access that New York City provides, which is that anything that I want at any time of the day, I can pretty much get. And I love that, especially as someone who spends a lot of time working and writing during the day. Often my free time is at night. And so if I want to be able to go to the grocery store, if I want to be able to do, errands and whatnot, I can usually still do them at night. It is also great when I have late nights and I'm like, I really want Thai food and I don't have to worry about finding a place that isn't open. The weather sucks. I'm fine. I've adapted to the humidity. I've learned to like the humidity. I love summer. I love hot weather. Yeah, I don't like cold weather. I lasted one winter before I learned to hate it, so I hate it a lot. Bodegas are great.
If you could voice act a character in a show, what character would that be and why?
I didn't have to think long about this one. Someone being weird and annoying in Bob's restaurant on Bob's Burgers. 100%. Like there was no hesitation. I was like, yeah, I want to be. So I would like to be a new character. I'd not like to voice an existing one. I want to be a new one, and whoever it is, I want them to be like a Parks and Recreation random citizen at one of the council meetings. I want like that level of annoying. That's who I want to be. Someone make it happen.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for guest interviews and more. And while you're at it, check out this playlist of all our interviews with our guests for 2021.